Hello, everybody. It is Thursday, January 25th, 2024. But I am so glad to be back and to see you all. And sorry I was running late. I came down here. In fact, Mark and I were upstairs having an argument about politics. And which is not a good thing to do right before I'm going to come on and see you because I don't want to be all angry when I'm saying hello. But it made me think about something I have been thinking about for a while. And that is I went to the Myrtle Beach quilt party in South Carolina and I was there for a week and it was wonderful. Hold on, are so my hands are so dry. Oh, I've been scrubbing cast iron. I don't know about you, but one thing when I go off and have a trip, I come home and can't wait to cook because I miss, I take convenience foods and things to eat when I'm up there, but I miss good homemade food. So, hi everybody. I can't wait to come and see exactly who's here. But I had a lot of time to think in driving all the way down and driving all the way back, between 4.5 hours, maybe closer to 5, depending on traffic. So I had a lot of time to think. And I also had some time to listen to some really good programming on National Public Radio. And one of them, which I'll share just briefly with you, was a really good, whether they meant it to be an inspirational piece, but it was a really good piece. Right now, our country is really having a rough time with people fighting over politics, over differences of opinion, all of that. And it can get so overwhelming. And we kind of become each other's enemy, which is very unfortunate because we're encouraged to have differences of opinion, but we should listen to each other. We should value what each other says because no one of us has all the answers. I mean, hey, if that were true, I'd be queen of the world. But they were talking about right now, there seems to be such turmoil, and we can forget that there have been other times of turmoil in our history. And the 60s were full of turmoil. And, you forget about things like that. You think, oh, back then everything was so much easier. No, it wasn't. But what they said is that people are basically kinder and more thoughtful and more generous than I think we give them credit for. They were talking about when the Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans. There were lies going around about how that bad things were happening in that Coliseum where they had to house people. It wasn't true. They have proven that none of that stuff that they were saying that was happening happened in there. The widespread looting, not true. And so, what they were trying to talk about is how people react under times of stress. And sometimes the thing that bothers me the most is there are basic rules. You could call them the 10 Commandments, you could call them your holy book, or like me, it would be Mother Nature's rules. And I think as humans, we want to follow them. We want to be kind to our neighbor because there's a give and take. We might need their help now. They might need um, our help later. So there's a give and take. And it reminds me of a TV show that used to be on where people were preparing for end times and they were getting their guns, and because people they said would come and steal everything they had. That's not true. That's not human nature. Time and time and time again, We watch humans rush to help in times of crisis, not to hurt. So I just thought after Mark and I were yelling at each other up there, I thought this would be a good time to kind of remind everyone we will get through this. And it is hard. It is hard. It's hard, especially the fight that I had was it bothers me to see so much lying going on in politics, in news or supposed news. That bothers me. And I think right now we're at a low standard in our tolerance for letting people lie and not speaking out to correct it. That's a tough one. That's a very that's a very hard one. And so I think I want to say to you, after listening to that show and after spending time driving home from Myrtle Beach Quilt Party, in which I saw the best of people and some of the worst. I'll tell you that in a minute. But basically, we have a set amount of time on this earth. We have no idea how long or short that will be. Very few of us do. I have decided to recommit myself to the beauty of the world, to the good things in the world, and not get wrapped up or sucked in to fake beliefs, to lies, to getting riled up and I will not let myself think that whoever disagrees with me is bad. They're not bad. They just have a different opinion. So anyway, I thought I'll turn this around because it's something that I've been thinking about talking. And I try not to talk about too much politics here because this is our happy place and I want it to remain our happy place. But to me, those the basic tenets in any group of people of not lying, not stealing, not killing, all of that, they hold true no matter what your belief system is. And just decide for yourself what is your true path and stick with it. And we will get through this. So, anyway, that's enough of that. But I just thought I would reach out and, but when you have, I had when you have a good 10 hours of driving time to think about things, it's pretty good. So anyway, we had the best time and I missed y'all and I had so many things that I thought about and it was a good time. Sunday, I'll have photos and little bits of film clips and some quilts to show you and all of that. I went a couple days early. I was so happy I was able to do that so that I could rest a little bit. But I tell you, I'm on a new beta blocker because it helps my trimmers. And when I have the biggest problem with trimmers is when I'm working on the computer with the mouse. But it does leave me more fatigued than I'm used to being. So I've realized now that more rest does not equal more energy. More rest means you're just going to be more tired. So I have got to get back to my twice a day exercising, build my energy level up because this time at Myrtle Beach, I was tired. I was tired. So, and then you should have seen Miss Lisa. I had the best time with Lisa. She is delightful. She's smart as a whip. She's talented. She's a graphic artist. And it was like, no wonder I love her. She's a kindred sister. So, because us art people, we've got a lot in common. But anyway, but she's doing good. She's lost like 20 pounds. She was really doing good. So it was a great class, great teacher. Oh my gosh, Cindy Page gave us so much information. I will go into this more on Sunday because this is our Art Quilt Thursday night, but I'll go into it more on Sunday. But since I've been home, and I apologize, you know what? I was so into my own little Deb world that I forgot to write our group's IO site and say, I'm back and here. So I apologize. I hope I didn't worry any of you because I got back Sunday, right before 5, maybe 4:30, something like that. And I've been pretty tired this week, but I've also been spending every bit of my free time working on my Alaska quilt. So, this is all I'm going to show you today because I'm trying hard to get it ready, get it fully pieced so I can show you on Sunday. But here, I'll give you a sneak peek. And this has 3 different blues in it. Okay. So, these are the same, then a very light teal, and then this wonderful lagoon type fabric. Now, I wasn't the only one, but I tell you this, my poor little seam ripper, there were times it was smoking. Oh my God, there were some of us who had to take blocks apart, put them back together 2 or 3 times. Yes. And I was right there with them. The more I tried to be fast, the more mistakes I made. This is not a hard quilt to make, but it is precise. This is the Alaska quilt by Laundry Basket Quilts. Edita Sitar is the designer. And oh boy, wait till I show you some of the pictures of what people's progress. They're all so beautiful. And depending on your fabric choice, it can look so different. So precise. Well, it's little things. Oh, look at this. We've got our Canadian artisan back. Woo, we've missed you. Hi, darling. I'm going to come and see everybody on there. But I thought I would tell you this. You have to cut it very accurately. I did pretty good, but not quite there. Sometimes I'd put the same pieces together and they didn't quite line up. You have to sew every stage of the way at 1/4 of an inch, no more, no less. Um, you have to line the pieces up when you place them. Now, I didn't put the little dots. Triangles are difficult. That is true. It's not hard. Don't be afraid of doing it, but just make sure that you are prepared to slow down, take a deep breath, and be very precise at every step of the way. That's why I was so excited to take this class because I knew I wouldn't start a quilt like this on my own. I'm not really good with precise. So, and Lisa had a chance to watch me in person and say, yes, precise is not one of Deb's fortes. But I had a couple of these blocks because, as you can see, there's quite a lot of pieces to come together. And I just realized it kind of shows I didn't get the center as pretty as I would like it. But I'm going to be honest with you. That's about as pretty as it's going to get. See, when you stand back there, you can't tell. So don't come up too close. Don't lean up to your camera. But I always start a quilt and I think, oh, I'm gonna do a perfect job so I can have a quilt to enter in the show. Well, by the time I get through about a block and a half, that's out the window. And if any of you think that quilters like Amish quilters ever have to make a mistake on purpose, no, because I don't think there's a quilter in the whole world that doesn't make a mistake somewhere on their quilt. And you realize when you take a block apart 3 times, it's gonna be pretty raggedy looking because, oh my gosh. In fact, I've gotta remember this. One of my pieces, I was trying to take it apart to re-stitch it, and my seam ripper went right through the fabric. And I mean, this cut a piece this long right in the fabric. So I've got to take that piece out, cut a new one, put it in. So, but it's always fun. And I do realize that's why I like art quilting because I have ideas. It's just slowing myself down to be particular is not my thing. It's very, very hard for me. But it was a great time. I want to go again. So I made a commitment to exercise and get in better shape so I can go and enjoy. Because when I get there, I have to take everything out of the car. I have to put everything back in the car. That's a lot. It's a lot. But anyway, let me see who's here first. And then I've got something here to show you that came from Miss Lisa. She got me all choked up with this one, ladies. So let's see who is here. Dixie Doodles. That is so cute. Laura, first person here. Thank you, Laura. Jody. Hi, beautiful lady. And Melanie, hello. Oh, Betty Middleton. Now, Dixie Doodles, do we know you by any other name, you sweetie? Because I'm not sure. Michelle the Quilter is here. Hi, Kathy Klein. So good to see you. Barbara Smith. Oh, man. And Canadian artisan. She is back. I love it. So, Polly Thompson, oh, so good to see you, Polly. I finally wrote the email back to you. I didn't even get on the computer. During the week I was gone, I had about 800 emails fill up my email box, and I barely touched them. It's either do I quilt or do I check emails? It's a it's a tough one. But oh, thank you. I do love the colors too. I'm really curious. I've already got a name for it. Um, I'm going to call it Midnight Lagoon. So that's my name for it because I was using all of these, dark and moody colors, and I'm like, yay. So you've been here several times, same name. Okay. Well, it is so nice to see you again. Regal Rose, hi. I know people were worried about me. I do apologize. Pat is here. This is great. It is so good to see all of you. So now let me show you. And Pat, here is one block of the 49 we had to make. One block of the 49. And I've got to tell you, there was a woman there. I don't think she worked ahead of time before the class, although there were plenty that did. But she was halfway done by the time the 3 days was over. I figured it took me a half a day for every set of 4 blocks. So I could only do 8 blocks in a day. That's kind of, but if I tried to rush, then it was mistake, mistake, mistake. And mistakes take a long time to sort out. So when I got there with Miss Lisa, she had a bag and a big, beautiful Christmas bag. And she said, I got you a little something. Well, let me show you what she got me. She had me all choked up. I said, oh my gosh, I'm not used to this. But look at this beautiful box. Look at it. Isn't it gorgeous? I love it. And look what's in the box. There must be probably almost 40 fat quarters worth of landscape fabrics. Ladies, look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? Now look at all of this and in colors and styles that I don't have. I mean, I'm looking at this going, oh my goodness, I see a whole bunch of landscape quilts in my future. I love these because it's not very it's not too specific, but you can definitely, it could be part of a meadow, it could be part of a mountain range. But oh my gosh, because I've been running low on my landscapes. Look at this beach fabric. Isn't that wonderful? And you know what? It could also be a dusty lane in a farm. And then look at this. Look at isn't that beautiful? So I'm going to show you real quick, and little tiny rocks. Now do you see why I got all emotional? It was like I jumped up and gave her the best hug. Look at this. A storm in the distance, too. Bricks. I love all the pebbles, the stone for the stone wall. I mean, here is like a meadow with some stones out in it, but they're all soft. So they don't have to be too perfect. Now let me put these back in here so I can show you some more of these. But oh my goodness. So, and now, don't anybody else think you've got to go and do this. I'm not sure my heart could take it, but I was just blown away at. I've never had brick, so that is awesome. And then look, look at this. Isn't that beautiful? Northcott, beautiful fabrics. Look, oh, I love, you know me, I love anything that looks like stones and rocks, fence boards, or barn siding. This is a wonderful grass type meadow fabric. Look at this sky fabric. It could be a wonderful, wonderful evening sky. Pine cones, which is great for like set back as a mottled color deep into the forest. Look at this. Isn't this amazing? And then look at this sky. Look, it's even got little birds, but isn't that beautiful? So, and look at the waves. Oh my goodness. So, and wonderful sky fabric. So, I got to tell you, Miss Lisa has, oh, in fact, it was so funny. I felt so bad that she spent so much on me that I went to one of the vendors and I just bought her a few little things. And I said, "Oh, Deb, but don't make her feel." I felt like I had to get something for her. And I made her, oh, I didn't bring it. I made her just this cute little plastic flamingo on a elastic band because flamingos are our symbol at Myrtle Beach. But I just made her that little thing. Oh, I'll have to bring it down. Wait till you see this gorgeous flamingo ornament she made me. So I just went down and got some of my favorite things. My Taylor's chalk and a plastic thimble that you can put in hot water, put on your finger, and have it mold so beautifully that you'll forget you've got it on. And then I got her one of the rolling chalk markers. It has like a little blade inside that'll leave a perfect little line. I was just trying to find something because I was just in awe of what she did. So there have been a few times y'all given me gifts, which you don't have to because just spending this time with me, that's my best gift from all of you. So, but I was just like, blown away. So now I'm set for landscape fabric. I am set. And we'll be doing a lot more landscapes. Let's just say that. So, all right. I brought this just to show you because the I did work on this when I was at in the room. So I worked on it a little bit, but I think mostly I just perfected the art of slugging it. So meaning you're slothing it, seeing how little I could move and how it was wonderful. I didn't have any dogs to let out. It was wonderful. So, okay. So, and don't forget, if you want to write something to get my attention, make sure to do it in all caps because I can see it real easy and I can zoom right in, see that you're talking to me. So it was a wonderful trip. A couple little things that maybe made it a little less so. They were building a new water feature at the hotel right outside our windows. And I'll show you pictures of that. I think it's going to be a lazy river. That's what I think it is. And so I couldn't really, the first 2 days were a little bit mild. I would have liked to have sat out there, but it was a little too noisy. But, and then, oh, I don't know how some of you handled the cold. It finally came into us by Wednesday. I mean, bitter cold. So, and at one point, I thought I was so proud of myself. I was using my cell phone to do an auto check in. I didn't even go to the front desk. And so I used my phone, and the phone brought up a digital key. Well, one day it wouldn't open. The door would not open at all. And I didn't bring my coat because I thought I'm not really going to be outside that much, just long enough to get to the elevator and then I'd be back in the building. Turns out the code reader on the door, the battery died. Luckily, I saw a gentleman there who was part of the staff, and I said, "Could you help?" And he called the office and got somebody to come bring me a battery. But I stood there for 20 minutes before, by the time I could find somebody to say help, and I looked on my phone and they said, "Oh, call this number." When I called the number, they said, "If you're having trouble using your digital key, call the main desk." I didn't have the main desk number. But anyway, but oh, and then I told you I was going to tell you I had a complaint. If you go to something like this, and Saturday night was banquet night. And so they had the buffet spread out, and then they had, I guess about halfway through the dinner, they set out dessert. They might have 3 different kinds of dessert. It doesn't mean you're supposed to take one of each. By the time I didn't want to rush, I was enjoying, and I said, "Lisa, I'll go up and get us something for dessert." There was hardly anything left. I was seeing these cute old ladies with their plate piled high with all these different desserts. And by the time I got up there was hardly anything left. And I didn't even enjoy the only one thing I got. So if you go to a buffet, do me a favor, take one. It's really nice. That's the proper way to do it. Oh no, Polly gets one of everything. Because the thing is, I know they're told how many people to expect at the banquet, and they only make a couple more of, they had plenty of dinner stuff to eat. But I don't these ladies, I mean, they were like practically running up there and just scooping all the stuff in. What in the world? So I was angry. I got back to the table. And there was a lady at our table who got 3 things too. And she didn't even eat one and a half of them. I'm like, that's rude. So I told Lisa, people were getting 2 and 3, and now there's not enough left. So what can you do? So the next day, going out of town, I stopped by Dairy Queen and got a milkshake. There, hot. I'm like, I wanted my dessert. So anyway, I just thought I would I was on the phone with Mark going, I can't believe this. Some lady got free dessert. Now all these ladies were getting free desserts. He's like, okay. Oh gosh. I tell you what, I do feel good. Although I felt like I put on weight when I was there. Now I'm like getting back to normal. I just when I'm at home, I'm in my routine and I it's just nice. Very nice. So it was a lot of fun. I would like to say that since coming home, I have just been so busy and working on our home landscape. This is the first time I'm looking at it today. And oh my gosh, if I showed you around this room, oh, I've got to clean. And I kept telling myself, Deb, you should clean, you should clean. Then at first, when I got home, it was a little too cold to be down in the basement. And now it's been raining for 2 days. So it's a little damp. I'm real good with coming up with excuses. But anyway, also to let you know, they have openings at the Myrtle Beach Quilt Show. So if any of you, it's at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, South Myrtle Beach, and you can just go to mbqp.com, I believe, and see about getting on a mailing list. We had about 25% of the members, our attendees, were brand new. So I thought that was great. So, and they'll let you know 1st of September, and then you can rush and put in for your class. So today, since I haven't picked out my fabrics for this, I thought I would talk to you a little bit more. Oh, and Pat, I saw Miss Judy and told her that you love her. And I did it before I even read your email, but I said, Pat Fry just thinks the world of you. And Miss Judy's so sweet. She said, I've seen your show. I like your show. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Miss Judy watches my show. Oh my gosh. Because Miss Judy is so talented, so amazing. And it was Miss Judy who taught me how to use a translucent cover to also draw the pattern on, so that while you're placing your fabric on the foundation below, you still have a pattern to make sure you're laying it right where you wanted to lay it. And her class that she taught this, I'll show you pictures of it Sunday, but it was a wonderful little birch forest with a little stream running through. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So she's so talented. So anyway, all right. So today, what I was going to talk to you about with this, because I haven't picked out the fabrics, I've got to do that. And don't worry, we're going to continue with this series until we're done. Charlene Lawson is here. Hi, sweetheart. Oh, it's so good to see all of you. Yes, cold at the beach is extremely cold. Crafty Pat lived there for quite a while. The breeze coming in off the ocean is just Sunday. It was 18 degrees Sunday morning when I had to load the car up. I made 2 trips back and forth to the room. I got inside the car and my hands hurt. I didn't think about bringing gloves, and oh, my hands hurt. So I had to sit there for about 20 minutes until they warmed up enough I could use them. But look at me complaining. Some of you are having snow, blizzards, everything. Hello, Jean kept in stitches. Hello, how great to see you, Jean. So, oh, this is neat. All right, cold, 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 cold. Okay, now, one thing I was going to tell you about today, because I probably won't be on here real long. I promise, on my honor, to do my best to give you a full landscape show next Thursday, because y'all been waiting a long time and I've been just a little distracted. So next Thursday, we're going to hit the ground running. But what I wanted to tell you is that I took the photos. Oh, and the placeholder photo is my house not long after we bought it, before I had it painted. And so I thought it was kind of fun for y'all to see the difference. But, this is the photo. This is the photo that I'm using for reference. I've enlarged it so that I can see the detail, because that better helps me. to handle how is the gutter and the trim. See, there's a little trim below the gutter, and just it really helps me to zoom in. Now, let me bring you over and show you. So I have not even finished working yet on drawing the pattern. What I did is I have a large photograph. What I did is, I'm saying what I did a lot. I took this photo and I cropped it. I brought this up to about here and I cropped it in. Okay. Then I cropped it one more time. I picked a point on this somewhere right around here and I cropped it half, saved it, got the whole, always save a copy of the whole picture. Then I came in and cropped it so I could have this half. That allowed me then to take and enlarge each half to where they filled up. Each of them filled up the landscape length, 11.5 inches of the paper. Okay. And you should have something on your Word program. I'd usually do this in Word because I'm very simplistic with it. But if you have this, let me see if I can turn a light on. Here it is. But what I did is I went to layout and I set my margins on narrow so I could get as much of the house on here. And you can see right here is where the overlap between the two houses. I chose a point that I would recognize and then taped it back together. Now, there are two different ways that we actually, well, two or three different ways that we can do our home pictures. One of them would be to come in here and every change of house color, like the stone here has lines in it, that this is a darkened shade, it's darker up here. Well, they all have kind of lines between light and dark. Like the top of the door here, it's dark. So you could draw a line right across here. You'd have a light section of the door and a dark section. So if you wanted to, you could take and make actual pattern pieces. So let me show you what that would look like. So there's a couple different ways to do that. So I'm just going to use this as white paper. So up here where you have the door, like this, you could have a line across here. And this is the dark part of the top of the door. Now, and this you would know that just means cut that out of a dark of that color. And then these would be the lights of the color. And they can even get lighter as it goes down. So like there's a line here that's, like this could be a not as pure a white as this would be. So you could make like put one here, two here, two here, three here. So you could kind of divide it up as to color. And that way you would have these little pieces to actually cut out. You could take like the post on the porch here, make a pattern out of that, put a number on it, put a code of what color you want or where it goes. I would put a code for this as right 1. The right-hand side column, number 1, this would be right R2. Okay, so you have to make codes on it so you know exactly where it goes. And everything, there's even a pot down here on the front porch, and you could take and you could draw around the pot. And then you could put P for pot. And you could put B if you wanted because it's a black pot. But you can do that. You can take this picture and break it into, like, right over here is a shadow that comes kind of down like this. So you got this wall section here, but even in, let me zoom you in a little bit so you can see what I mean. Okay, so this part is darker. So you could, do a dark green for this shadow and then a medium green for down here. But what I would do is end up taking this. If you're going to make pattern pieces from this, I mark what numbers. Have some form of identification so that when you start it, you know exactly where things go. Because, you know, the columns are the same shape as the shutters. Whoops, hold on. These columns are the same shapes as the shutters. So you're going to need to know that. And two, let's say you drew the shutter pattern like this, and you can do the pattern, you can draw it right on Fusible if you're going to use Fusible. But I would put some lines on it so that helps you remember the shutters. And you could do, there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this shutter would be number 5. So that would be a S5. And that's if I start from, whoops, let me go back out. If I start from the left here, over here, and count that way, you just have to figure all this out for yourself. There is a gutter here. And so you would have to draw the gutter and put gutter right or RG right gutter, things like that. So, and then decide if you want to put this tree in here. Then just go in here and draw your tree. Let me see, get this in, draw the tree, and then put tree right, because that'll be the rightmost tree. Now, I'm not going to do it that way, but I'd like you to know this. Oh, Carol's going. Bye, Carol, hon. Take good care. It was so good to see you, sweetie. All right. I'm not going to do a pattern because my joy comes from freehanding it. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and lay my fabric. This will be a white piece of fabric. And if you have a mottled white, then that's even better because rarely is something just one color. But what I would do here is if you have a friction pen, that's wonderful. I tend to use a lot of pencils, but I would come in here and I would very, very lightly draw this like this, draw that, then cut it out. And I'm not going to use fusible on this if I at all can help it, because I don't like doing the thread painting through the fusible. So what I would do is come in, cut this shape out, take couple little tiny dots of school glue and school glue that in place. And it'll be the right size and shape. So that's how I like to work, because to me, it's like when I quilt a quilt, I do it freehand because I really, really, really don't like drawing everything out and then trying to follow it. So I prefer to just kind of freehand it. So I'm going to bring all my colors. Now, I don't bring big bolts over. I audition the fabrics with the color photograph, and then whatever size fabric I think I'm going to use, I'll rip a piece off. Then I come over here with my pieces. And then that way I can kind of pull one, try it out, pull another one, whatever. And if you need a particularly big or long piece, then make sure you tear off a big enough piece. But if you look at the roof, there are 4 or 5 different shades of that roof. So you need 4 or 5 different fabrics or a very well marbled or modeled piece of fabric that would have all the colors in. The more accurate you are with the colors, the more realistic it's going to look. That's a choice for you to make. If you don't mind if it's, you know, if it's representational, let's say, then you can pick one green or two and go across. I tend to get myself into trouble maybe a little bit because I want it maybe to be too realistic, and that can be tricky. Let me turn that light back off now. Let me see if my camera will come back up. It was getting a little dark. Let's see. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is have all of the fabrics. Pick as many different fabrics as possible. Oh, what is this? Oh, it's a case of landscape fabric. So I've got, oh, look at this. For the tree, whoops, now it's so dark. Come on, camera. How do I get it light again? I may have to turn this back on. Let me see. Let me see. It's gotten so dark. That's why I stopped using these lights because it became a problem. But look, oops, now I might be kind of stuck needing it now. But anyway, but this would be really good bark right up here. I'm turning off these lights because what happens if I keep the light on too long? Then it makes the camera dull down, and I don't want that to happen. So let me just try to turn it off and give the camera a moment. I'll lean it up here and let it come back. Let the color try to come back. Okay. Bring this here. But anyway, yeah, there. See, now it's coming back up. So I can go ahead and turn the light pad off. Yay. All right. So this is where I can have some trees or grass. This would be wonderful for the little bit of grass that might show here. And let's say if it looks too tall this way, see if I feel like that each grass blade's too tall, then turn it that way. See how that works? So feel free to manipulate that. But I was thinking I might have something. Let me see if I can find it. I wanted something that looked like the pine straw. This, I think, is going to be pretty good, especially if I fussy cut this area because I have a lot of pine needles or what we call pine straw here. This will be perfect for that. Now, let me see. Oh, there's that Lisa girl. Oh, she's something else, I tell you. I was thinking, I thought there was something else. Well, I was thinking of this color. It now it has some lines in it. But this is going to be great because I can just pick and choose and cut and decide exactly what I want. Luckily, I have a lot of the greens that will work really good on the house, and I'll have to find some roofing colors, but and then I will definitely like some sky behind the house. So what I'm going to do now, I've talked to you about how am I going to actually turn a drawing into a copy of the house. And you can make your pattern like I first showed you. Make a pattern of everything like this, and you can draw it right on the paper side of your fusible, and just make sure that you label the actual photo that you're using or the drawing on the foundation, and you label each pattern piece. Or I'm going to sit here with scissors and I'm going to freehand cut it. I might do a little bit of the drawing with the pencil around some of the bigger shapes. I might do a little drawing on the edges of the trees. But um, I've got a lot. I just love sitting there. I'm going to use school glue. The reason I'm going to use school glue, and I might put some in a little tiny, a small tip bottle. I'm going to use school glue because I tend to put something down and then go, no, I'm going to change that a little bit. I change things a lot as I go. If I were to use a tacky glue right away, that's real hard to change. It's hard. Once it dries, it's hard to pull up. So school glue gives me a chance to move it around and try it different ways. So let's see. So I think then what we've got to do next, I've got to make sure that my whole pattern is drawn out on the foundation and also on the golden threads paper, which is a translucent paper. And I pin it at the top so I can pull it down over the drawing. And I know when I've placed my fabric correctly. So I can put it on the foundation, then pull this down and go, oh, yep, that's pretty good. And anytime that you want to have a pattern and follow it with a landscape, I recommend getting the golden threads paper. If you can, buy the roll that's the longest. This one is about 21 inches, I would say. They have one that's closer to 12 inches. But think of what size, since this is what I mostly use it for, think of what size of a landscape picture you're going to do. And mine tend to run closer to 2 feet that way by 3 feet, somewhere in that range. And I just pin it up there and it will last through the entire project. It's also good because let's say you're thinking about adding such and such to your picture. Well, try with pencil to draw it on the golden threads paper. Put it down and see what you think. It allows you to kind of audition some things or lay a piece of fabric on there, kind of see what you think, place it underneath, but it will allow you to kind of try out a few different things. The more I was thinking about this, I've got a birdhouse out front and I've got a piece of ironwork on the wall in between windows, some of my favorite shrubs and trees. Those are all the things that are really going to make you realize that's my home. And I love that Marsha Han um did her childhood home and put so many all the things that she loved best in that landscape. And it was, you really realized why that was a magical place to grow up for her. So keep all of that in mind. Feel free to take more photos, take some close ups or enlarge them so you can see the detail, because it's in the little things like that, the little details. Now, I don't know if you watched Alex Anderson's show, was it Monday? Where she interviewed Carol Bryant Fowler Gentry, who is an amazing artist, amazing. And she was talking about she takes and removes clutter out of out of a photo of anything she's going to do. And that is what I was telling y'all too. I'm not going to put all the trees, all the shrubs, all the trees behind the house. I'm going to give a representation, but not everything. Because if it becomes too cluttered, you tend to lose the essence of why you're doing the house in the first place. So put the things that mean something to you, like that birdhouse on a pole. That means a lot to me. Certain trees mean a lot to me. Put those in, and but don't put everything. So it's just a just take a look at it, get an idea of what you want, and then edit. Edit, edit, edit. That is the thing that I have the biggest trouble with is editing. Because for me, if a little bit of bling looks good, then I think a lot would look great. Not true. So make sure you do your editing and all of that. Alex Anderson on YouTube. Yes. And if you want to find her, oh, there's Marsha Hahn I was talking about. If you want to find her, you can go to thequiltshow.com, then go to learning. There's a little tab for learning. If you click on learning, all of Alex Anderson's free shows that come on like Monday and Wednesday, they're all there. And you can go back and look at them. She started doing this during the pandemic. They're there. And how wonderful. I mean, just, oh gosh, I was so inspired by, wait till you see the latest work that Carol Bryant Fowler Gentry, Gentry did. It is it is so different than anything that she's done. I like her colorful works better, but I love that she can go so far out of her comfort zone and create something new. Every piece of art that you do teaches you something. Even if it's something you end up not really liking, it teaches you something. And so never be afraid to go outside your wheelhouse, go outside your comfort zone and try it. All it takes is a little bit of time and a little bit of your fabric that was just sitting there anyway. So give it a good shot. So I learned a lot from that. And I still, Wednesday, I watched my textile talks. Love those. They had a woman on there who is studying World War One quilts. Fascinating. So I love any chance to learn. Any chance, keep growing, keep learning. So I think that's about it for me. I think I'm kind of tired. And Lisa, don't forget, Lisa, send me pictures of your blocks or whatever you've put together because Lisa's work is so pretty. When I finish sewing a block, it's well, this looks good. With doing black, it looks good. But you see how in the back it's not quite flat, it's not delicate. When Lisa does her blocks, they're flat and delicate. I love that. It just never seems to work that way for me. But I want you to see her work. She picked out her own fabrics. I love her colors. She has a really good eye for picking certain designs in the fabric. Really impressed. So we will show you Sunday. We'll tell you a lot. And Lisa, I told them about if you go to a buffet at a banquet, don't take 3 of everything. That really bothered me. So Lisa, after I unthawed enough to be able to drive out of the hotel, I went and got a milkshake from Dairy Queen. I said, I'm getting my dessert. So anyway, oh, and I'm sorry that I kind of stayed so quiet. I was really just enjoying still being inside my head and pretending the real world hadn't started again. And but I tell you what, I've already started back exercising because I realized I told Mark when I got home that was hard for me. I was really tired, not in good enough shape, and I want to keep going. I love going there. So I've got to work harder, and I am going to do that. So anyway, I will, Lisa, I told them about your box and how choked up I got, and you shouldn't have done it, but you're so wonderful. And she was so much fun. Now, I'm going to tell too, she got a pretty bad cold before she came. She went to the doctor the week before. She was put on antibiotic just in case. And she was so good at wearing a mask. You know, when you've got a bad cold, it's not fun wearing a mask. But she's so thoughtful and didn't want to risk anyone else. Luckily, by the last day there, you could definitely tell she was doing better. But I just wanted to point that out. Very thoughtful lady. So, and a lot of fun. So, if you ever want to travel and Lisa's available, go with her. She's a lot of fun. All right, people. I will see you Sunday. I'll have all the stuff from Myrtle Beach and the only one little thing. Well, actually, I bought more than one thing for myself because a lady started selling stuff during the class and she was selling yard sale stuff. And well, I had to go and buy something. I'm supporting people. That's it. So, anyway, but I want to show you my Jenny Buyer fabrics that I got I bought them from Marshall Dry Goods. Oh, it is because Jenny Buyer's not designing anymore. So it's very special. And then there's something that I found that I thought they were out of. Remember, Lisa, when we found out about that, what was it called? Something blue. I went looking for that pattern. When I found that pattern, I realized a quilt kit that I had wanted 2 years ago that I thought was gone forever. I found it someplace. So you'll have to see what I did after saying, I'm not going to keep buying fabric because how will I have time to make all of this? So you'll wait. Sunday, I'll show you what I have done. Okay, everybody. Up. Oh, Lisa ordered the something blue pattern, and I think I do have that picture. This woman came up and took a class where she worked on something from home. I think that's how she was doing it. Oh my gosh, it is a quilt that is an heirloom, once in a lifetime quilt. So I'll show you that Sunday too. Okay, everybody. All right, so I can't wait to see you Sunday afternoon, 3 p.m. That's Eastern Time, New York time. And can't wait to see you. And I'm going to show you all the things I bought and all the pictures from the Myrtle Beach Quilt Show. Okay? Quilt party, pardon me. And thanks, Mardell. I doubt she watches this, but she did a beautiful job putting it on. All right, everybody. I will see you Sunday. Take good care of yourself. Stay well and warm. Oh, good, good. Thank you. And I will see you all this Sunday. And Mary, I am going to mail that quilt to you. I promise. I promise. Take good care, everybody. Bye bye. If I can make this work. Yeah. Bye bye.